Okay, genes matter because you matter. Whether you like it or not, our chromosomes accrue changes over a lifetime. And depending on your lifestyle, depending on the foods that you eat, those changes can lead to disease, or they can lead to other changes. For example, male infertility. Imagine you and your partner want to have a baby, but the problem is you can't get pregnant. So what do? You go to a fertility clinic, they prescribe some drugs, they try to fix your partner. But it turns out something's wrong with their sperm. After a karyosome genetic test, you find that there's a duplication or there's an absence of a Y chromosome. So what happens now? The information that that doctor gives you is dependent on scientists like Dr. Chu, Krizel, Kristen, and myself. I had to plug that in there. Going back to the talk. Because the research that we're looking at is studying sperm. So believe it or not, I know all of us are familiar with sex. We're all of sexual age. And if you haven't, you probably should have it. Because you're missing. But sperm, just get back to the point, harvests a lot of information. Information from the paternal side is given to the egg, and a process called embryogenesis occurs, leading to the formation of, guess what, a baby. But the problems that arise from a genetic basis can elucidate, I guess, some understanding of how their sperm development arises. So one particular point, epigenetic profiles and epigenetic mechanisms. So what does that mean? Epigenetics means things outside of the DNA. Information is heritable to the offspring that isn't just solely the DNA. So why is that interesting? Well, if you know the central dogma, you're familiar of DNA gets transcribed to RNA and then becomes what? Protein. But how that DNA is read determines proteins in the long term. So we're studying histones of a certain variety that play an important role throughout spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis means sperm development. So during that little 2-week window before you have sex, when your sperm is developing, guess what? These bad boys, histones, come in there, compact your chromosomes, and make your chromosomes your chromosomes compact DNA or they loosen DNA, making certain genes that are important for sperm production available for transcription. So just to throw one little term at you, HTOS1. What is HTOS1? It's a histone type that possibly might be involved with this compaction, heterochromatin. The reason why we know that it has some importance in sperm development is because of this image here. If you're looking at, this is C. elegans, so I forgot to mention that we study sperm and sperm infertility using the model organism Caenorhabditis elegans. And this image here shows you staining DNA of a certain region on the certain region of the organism's body that is kind of a point in time when division occurs. What's really interesting about this staining, HTOS, once it's stained with certain antibodies, is only or proliferates around the late Pacatine period. This is a period commonly labeled for spermatogenesis, meiosis, a meiosis event, as compared to a mitotic event where cells are identical as opposed to crossover when genes vary, change. And as you see the merge kind of come together, there's like kind of a mix of blue and green to represent that intermingling. So why, so anyways, that's why my research will be focusing on, and even more in particular, I'm really interested at how structure determines function. So my project will be looking at how histone variants, their structure determines function for creating sperm. And hopefully we can, with all this information, we can make sure that your partner and you can have a beautiful baby boy that looks like me.